What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 2 of my Chivas series. Now, actually, this series might actually only be a season long. I'm not doing badly. In fact, as you can see, I think I'm doing pretty well. But if the right job comes up in the summer and I've won the MLS, I'll be pretty happy just to leave. But for those of you who do not know, there are 34 games in the MLS, which means that today is the final day of the season, regular season that is for us. I'd just like to go quickly, before I go over the transfers and the fixtures, over the qualification rules, I guess. As you can see, top 3 in the Eastern and Western Conference will qualify for the semi-finals, as you can see. Now, if you look at this playoff table, it takes out the qualified teams, and there will be one more team qualified, which will be either Chivas or Vancouver. Yeah, I think it's Vancouver. One sec. It'll either be Chivas or Real Salt Lake, or Vancouver might still get in there. And it looks like Portland lost their game in hand. So, yeah, it's between Vancouver, Salt Lake, and Chivas, with us in the driving seat. It'll take one of these 3 out, and then the remaining 4 will qualify for the wild card. Now, what the wild card is, if we go back a season, we can see. As you can see, Colorado, Dallas, Portland, New England, Houston, and DC United qualified for the playoffs automatically. And in this case, it was just the next 2, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes, 6th place. 6th place in one league is better than 5th place in the other league, so they'll qualify. But if I just show you, it took, I can't even tell. But for those of you who remember who qualified automatically, the next 4 qualified for the wild card, including Chivas. And the wild card is basically a one-leg match where the teams go a one-leg match where the winner goes through, and again they qualify for the semi-finals. Now, if two teams, right, this is really confusing, I know. If 2 teams from the same conference, as you can see, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, in this case, we qualified for the Western Conference and Chicago qualified for the Eastern Conference. I got that right. So it was alright. But if, say, we had qualified and Salt Lake had qualified, then one team, I think it's the team with the lowest place in the regular season, would go into the other conference. You got that? Yeah? Okay. Now, the semi-finals is a 2-legged affair, and whoever wins that goes through to the finals of their regional conference. And whoever wins that is the champions of their regional conference. So if I just show you, yeah, basically DC United were the champions of the whole MLS, I think. But, does it show champion on the other side as well? No, it doesn't. Never mind. But yeah, whoever wins that final is the champion of their regional conference. And then the 2 champions play each other in the MLS Cup, and the winner is the champion of the MLS. That is how qualification works. Back to how that works in relevance to us. We need to win to qualify for the semi-finals. And yes, we might very well qualify with a negative goal difference. Alright. As you can see on the other side, DC United Columbus, Houston, and Toronto have already qualified. And on our side, LA and Seattle have already qualified. Whew. that was confusing. As you can see from here, though, we will, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, qualify for the wild card. But the wild card is actually really congested schedule, as you can see. The wild card match takes place on the 30th, which is 3 days before the first leg. Okay, yeah, we're in the Western Conference, so it is literally 3 days before the first leg. That is really congested. We could use a break, so hopefully we'll be able to win and secure our place in the conference in the semi-finals with a win here. Right. Let me show you what transfers have gone down. The MLS, I have found, does transfers very, very quickly. I love it. You can just offer let me see. Thing is, players don't get that pissed if you offer them out. Let's say Jeff Thorne. Transfers and contracts offered to MLS clubs. Yes. Instantly you'll get offers. See up there? Instantly I got offers with draft picks and things like that. Reject all offers. Yes. Jeff Thornton's not for sale. So that's really awesome because I can sell a lot of players. Right. Let me go to the part where I actually brought players in. No, he's the captain. I think. Right. I think this is where I started. No, because Argueta was here first. So was Lee Chavez. Right. Yeah. This is where I started. Chris Roberts. Young striker. He's not fantastic, but I don't know why I brought him in either. I think he's got a good finishing attribute. As we wait for it to load. Yeah, there we go. No, I was wrong about the finishing attribute. I don't know why I brought this guy. Maybe it was just an experiment to test the MLS trade system. Who knows? He's probably a decent asset I can sell on later anyway. Shane Glazer was brought in for $100,000 plus. I think I exchanged a player and a draft pick. Which is weird, by the way. I could exchange my draft picks from 2024 when the drafts have already happened and teams would actually take those draft picks. So, interesting. He's on a lot of money. He is the highest paid senior at this club, so I find him quite a few times in this season when he's played badly, just because he's being paid so much. We need to get our money back if he hasn't deserved it. I think I've got some pretty good deals here, except for one, which I'm sure you can see already. Edward Staller from New York, $50,000 plus a player exchange. Not sure where that was, but I brought him in, and then as you can see somewhere here, yeah, he went off for one draft pick. All right, I think I got that deal pretty well, and then he came back in when Sporting KC waived him. And then I waived him because nobody would buy him. So I guess that's another thing. Business is really interesting in the MLS. I brought in that guy in the foreign transfers along with Sergio Bueno. I also got Pearson Joseph, who's been very good this year. These are all holding. Well, let me see. So yeah, these three, Stala, Opsal, and Joseph are holding midfielders, and Sergio Bueno is a right backup for Dan Miller. Yeah, he's the same as this guy. Curtis Travis took a lot of money to get. I think I ended up paying like $400,000 for this guy. But he's alright, and he's a backup left back. He will be our first choice left back next year because Sullivan, I think his name is, has already agreed a contract with a foreign team. And finally, for a grand total of $4.5 million, I brought in Chivas' first designated player in over 2 decades. Well, almost 2 decades. Juan Jose Fuentes. He is Spanish. He is 29. He is a striker. And he is on a designated contract. As you can see. He's actually one of the lowest paid designated players in the MLS. As you can see, he's a bit of a nomad. Started at Valencia. Never really found his feet, but did have a fantastic reserve season with Granada B. And this year he's been alright, He definitely looks like a above class player. He looks like he's better than a lot of players in this league. And he's had a great influence on the way we play. And I like his name. Juan Jose Fuentes. I put the 4 million over like 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, and I was like, alright, Malaga keep offering this guy to me. Malaga want to get rid of him. I'll pay under his value, which was like 4.3 at the time, I think it was, and I'll see if they'll accept it. It's over. This was way more than my allocation funds. Let's see if the board will let me fill up the allocation, the designated player slot I just bought. And they said, yeah, we'll buy this guy for you. Let's see how he does. And so far, he's been alright. I think he's been playing really well this year. Let's hope he'll shine today. He's played more. When he plays today, he'll have played more games here than he did in the entire of last season at Malaga. Interesting. Let's see if there's anything interesting going out I can show you as well. Where is he? Yeah, here you go. So, Matthew Chanel went out for a draft pick, so did Billy Schwala. He was a backup striker we had. Chris Binsler, he was a striker who was apparently really good, but One thing is, I really wanted to get Sporting KC's draft picks because, as you can see, they have been absolutely abysmal this year. Sporting KC have definitely, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, got to be the bottom club in the MLS this year. And for those of you who don't know, the draft picks, the way they work is that the team at the very bottom gets the first draft pick, and the team that wins the MLS Cup gets the last one. So you have to try and get the draft picks from the lower league teams, and I knew Sporting KC would have a high draft pick. I didn't think they'd be first, but I think it's probably going to be first now. So I did get, as you'll be able to see here, next year I've got Sporting KC's first round draft pick in the Super Draft, and I've got Sporting KC's first round draft pick in the supplemental draft as well. I didn't trade any of our draft picks from next year away, but the old manager seems to have traded all of our next year draft picks except for our third round pick in the supplemental draft. I haven't played the draft yet, so I don't know quite what to say. Let's go into the fixtures now. When I took over, which was the last live com, was the 3-3 with Portland Timbers. Long time ago now. So, how did we do since then? Good win in Dallas. Let me show you. Terry Miller, Clint Rodriguez, and Ben Levy on the score sheet. Clint Rodriguez with another goal at Columbus, a very tight match. I think that was the last minute. No, I'm thinking of the Seattle game. A really, really hard-fought victory in Canada. First victory in Canada, as we came back from 1-0 down to win 2-1 in Vancouver. Clint Rodriguez and Sashir Hott with the goal, obviously from a corner there, the centre-back. Clint Rodriguez, our left winger, skipper. Tough defeat to take in Real Salt Lake. It was the third of 3 away games. We had been struggling, barely scraping by on wins, and I think finally the pressure of playing away really caught up to us on this one, and we just folded. A loss to Sporting KC, one of the most ridiculous goals I've ever seen in FM. I will load it for you, why not? If I can. It was really bad, and we just couldn't attack. This was before Juan Jose Fuentes came in, but even if we had him, I think we couldn't create enough of a chance to score an equaliser or, God forbid, a winner. And the first goal really hit us. I think it was a 0-0 game, and a really shocking goal was the thing that cost us in the end. So let's see. No, there you go. Save from Glacier. Wells back to Glacier. I'll just show that again for you guys. This was probably one of the most ridiculous. I thought this series was going to be terrible after this, and it's not been too bad. It's been a typical season, and we've got Chivas up from 7th to 3rd at the moment, and hopefully we'll be able to win the MLS in our first season. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's possible, as you can see. Oh god. Okay. Well, after that abysmal atrocity of a shit face, we played against Seattle and stole the win. Lee Chavez with a header, 92nd minute, right to the death. Really, really, really defensive game. We held them, we countered, we scored. A win against what at the time was the best team in the MLS. 3-0 win away in Philadelphia, big win. Own goal followed by Peterson Joseph with a hammered in shot, and Francisco Argueta, who started a decent run that ended with him being dropped thanks to our designated player, but he did have a good run after this. A loss in Canada. Francisco Argueta equalised before we got smashed in the second half. 4 games without a win, held to a draw late goal by New York. We did have Red Bulls. We did have an Argueta goal, but New York managed to equalise it out. San Jose also, I think, scored late to cancel out Clint Rodriguez and Terry Miller's goals. Columbus, I think we scored late through Matthew Janez to score to get a point there. 2-0 win away at Dallas. Juan Jose Fuentes with his first goal and Ben Levy with the other one. I think this was... I remember this one. This was a tight game. I defended from the very start. What's his name? What is his name? Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of a different game. Never mind. I'm thinking of... What game? I'm thinking of this one. The New York game. We'll go back to this one though. Houston, televised. They got a man sent off at 1-0. At 1-0, we pushed on to 3-0. Ben Levy hat-trick. First Chivas player in history, by the way. Unless, well, at least since 2011. You Chivas fans, let me know if in real life they've been a Chivas hat-trick scorer. But since the game's conception, which was in 2011, first Chivas player to score a hat-trick. Before getting smashed in the Honda Classico Derby by LA Galaxy. And that was unfortunate. It was a rather ridiculous match, but we did have 4 goals from who I think should be the MLS MVP this year. I forgot his name, but he's like Egyptian. He's really good. Yeah, at the start we just knew we were gonna get smashed by him. So that was I think this might be my largest defeat on Football Manager, but it was also the largest defeat at home Chivas has ever done. But it wasn't really a home game. It's not really a neutral venue, but it's a double home game because it's at the Home Depot Center, which is where me, Chivas, and Galaxy also play their games. We both play there. It's not owned by us, by the way. It's owned by a youth team. That's really interesting. We won away at the Red Bulls, 0-0. Then Mr. Paul Franklin got sent off thanks to Shashir Hot's terrible pass. He had to clean up and unfortunately got in a bad tackle. Right after that, we pushed back. We've been defending the whole game, but we really just 11 men behind the ball. The ball flew out. Clint Rodriguez took it from the halfway line, dribbled it up, cut inside, had a go on his weak foot, and he scored. And then straight afterwards, took it up again, tried to cross in, bounced off Dan Raleigh, I don't know, and went in 2-0. Big win in New York. Went on to San Jose. Really close 1-0 win. Juan Jose Fuentes with the goal. Lost to Portland at home. Not quite sure what that goal was. Don't remember it. No, don't remember it. 2-1 in Seattle. Juan Jose Fuentes with a late consolation. And a well fought for 0-0 against DC United last week. Now, with our latest fixture since quite early on, since San Jose, at 7:30 in the afternoon, can we beat Colorado Rapids to secure our place in the MLS semi-finals? It's going to be a tough one. They're playing 3 at the back. Team I've picked today is Sergio Buenez because Dan Miller is injured, John Sullivan because he's our first choice left back, Sashi Hott and Paul Franklin. Shane Glazer, I have to play him because he's on the most money, so I'm assuming he's better, although I can't really tell. Ben Levy is our playmaker. 2 ball-winning midfielders in Joseph and Wells. Miller and Clint Rodriguez, first choice. And Juan Jose Fuentes, our designated player. Let's get out there. I don't know, they have just as much midfield dominance as us. You have to play in 3 at the back. Maybe we should push on. I should exploit the flanks first for definite. So we do want to be playing wide today. I think we want to keep the tempo up as well. Alright. Don't really have any specific marking instructions I want to be using, but I will show the wingers off on their, not weaker foot, but onto the left foot. Onto the opposite foot, I think I want to say. Because like sometimes they play opposite wingers, and what I want to do is show them inside. That's what I want to do. No matter what foot is their strongest one. Alright. We want to come out the blocks. Come fast out the blocks, I think is the term. I've forgotten it for some reason. And try and get an early goal. So get ball forward, pass into space, clear ball to flanks, and get stuck in. Passionately, let's give the fans something to cheer today on the last day of the season. It is at the Home Depot Center. I haven't really won this dressing room, but these team talks are getting slightly better. Like I said before, there is no language barrier to get through. They are, well, I don't know. Some of them are Spanish speakers, but most of them are English speakers, so we should be alright. Come on, Chivas! Bum, 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 Chivas. I'm wondering whether to abandon the 3 in midfield strategy because it's not going to help us today. I just don't know what I would do with that extra man or where I would put them. Come on, Clint, the skipper. Good run. I didn't really know what to do with it. Sullivan does though. Terry Miller isn't exactly the towering target man that would be needed to put in that type of shot. Good. All our highlights. And it almost got forced in. And Juan Jose Fuentes gives Chivas the lead. Yeah! The designated player with his 4th goal of the season since arriving a couple of months ago. Yes. We don't have to worry about getting the ball forward. We should. I've clicked on Chivas apparently. Don't worry about getting the ball forward now. This stuff I think I'm still willing to do. Did I hit the bar? The post, I mean? It's a good goal from Fuentes. I think he's a left footer. I'm not too sure. You saw him. I showed you his profile earlier, so if you want to know, look at his profile from earlier in the video when I went over him. Here's Fuentes again. Jordan Wells. This keeper had to make the save. I hope that's a pass. I really hope that's a pass. Oof. You know, when I started playing FM like 5 or 6 years ago, I just always thought 3 kicks never went in. And for some reason, although the game has stayed the same, like I've been playing FM12 for nearly 2 years now. The game is the same. It's still FM12. There's been barely any patches since when I thought this. But for some reason, free kicks have gotten better. People have gotten better at scoring free kicks. It's not like my tactics have changed. Everyone seems to be better at free kicks, even me. Come on, Ben Levy. Terry Miller's offside. It's a hell of a finish. Alright. For those of you wondering, me managing the men's USA national team, which did happen before I came to the MLS, for those wondering. Ben Franklin with an important clearance. We have qualified for the 4th phase, I think it is, of the World Cup qualifiers, North American division. Danny Suarez. We qualified 2nd in our group behind Guatemala. Ooh, don't worry, that's not a minnow kind of thing. Guatemala are pretty damn good ever since I left them. They either won or came 2nd in the Gold Cup. And they are 70th in the world rankings, which, for those of you wondering how shit USA are these days, I think they've got good players. They got a couple of world-class players, but they are 73rd now, I think, and they were as far down as 79th during my reign, so... Oh, God. That's not a foul! Oh! Somehow... Well, if we had scored there, Colorado might have reason to complain. Sashir Hot is completely outpaced. And Ben Franklin, damn it, I said it. Oh God, Paul Franklin is good to make a clearance. I should probably change that. Sergio Bueno is currently the man I leave forward for corners because of Dan Miller. But because Dan Miller's not playing, I should probably put it back to Fuentes. Rodriguez. Oh, that's a nice head. You don't see that a lot. Fuentes, 2-0. That is why I pay him $25,000 a week. Well, Romano's only scored 3 goals in the 9 matches. He scored 2 tonight. Could he be a star player for us in the semi-finals? That's a pretty damn good flick on. Completely destroyed the defender with 1 touch. And that is an excellent finish. Chivas USA 2, Colorado Rapids 0. And that is the second half. The first half done. Scoring just before Scoring just before half time, we should take the wind out of their sails. And that should take us through. Not through, but that should take us through the entire game without really having to worry now. Calmly. Well, I can't really tell them that they've got nothing to lose now, so just, well done, Gads. Gads? Well done, lads. Okay. Don't pass into space. Pass to feet. Retain possession. Clear ball to flanks. No. Just play out of defence. Don't exploit the flanks. Don't worry about that. Just, get stuck in, but hassle opponents. Drop deeper. And play defensively. There you go. And we now must look to resting players for the playoffs. Argueta can play there. even though I know he actually can't, technically. And no, we won't make changes yet. We won't make changes yet. Let's have a look how the rest of the MLS is looking. We apparently would go above Seattle if the score stays as they are with a negative goal difference because we have got a better head-to-head record and they haven't played their game in hand yet. Yep, I think that's it. If we get through, if a miracle doesn't happen and Colorado somehow beat us today, I will be showing every single game of the playoffs in a similar fashion to the way I handled the second or third season of the HSV series, because it was the second season, because in that one I just showed a lot of cup games towards the end of the season because that's all we had to play for. At this point, I haven't done a lot this season, so I will show every playoff game. So that means, the semi-finals, both games for definite, possibly a final, and then possibly an MLS Cup. Probably not the last two things. Although we have been alright, this year, since my leadership has taken over, and I like this team. I think this team's good. I don't see, at full strength, I don't really see a weak spot except for the rather mercenary, defensive midfielders. I don't really have any passionate defensive midfielders or any good ones. It's alright if they don't love the club as long as they're very good. They're not neither. So that's the only problem I have with them right now. But Dan Miller, if he comes back in time for the playoffs, I don't think he actually will. Terry Miller is very good. Fuentes is... Oh, I thought he was going to prove my point. Very good. And I think our keeper's alright. We can't really find great keepers in the MLS. So, to have somebody who's on a good amount of money a week, hopefully that'll motivate him in the playoffs. And Sasha Hot's alright. Fuentes was on a hat-trick. Miller, 3-0. Is that an own goal? Nope, it's Terry Miller. Alright, there you go. Game wrapped up, game well and truly over with. Our contain, take a breather. The playoffs start now, I guess. We can start looking forward because we don't have to look behind us anymore. We do not have to play a wildcard game. We just need to play the playoffs. We don't want to concede though, but you can take a breather. Don't worry about it. That's a hell of a block. And Shane Glazer gets the ball. If you're wondering about how Shane Glazer's been in the team this year, after that goal that I showed you at the start, the ridiculous one, I did drop him for a while. And then when I was about to get him back in the team, Jeff Thorne was my other keeper, by the way. When I was getting him... Oh, John Sullivan. When I was getting him back in the team, he got injured. So, he started another 2 or 3 matches, I think. So, he has been in the team since... I want to say September. No, he's been in the team since mid-August. Franklin 4-0. He's been in the team since mid-August, so he has got his match fitness up. But he's not been through it the entire year. So we do have actually a decent backup keeper. I have a lot of faith in Jeff Thorne. Okay, now we should look at substituting some players. Anybody below... Yeah, Clint Rodriguez. We need to be looking at him. Okay, why not? Why not? We just push him up there. And we'll bring on Lee Chavez. He's going to shout at me because I've taken him off on his hat-trick. And whatever, you need to be rested for the playoffs. Oh yeah, apparently Shane Glazer has the best influence out of all our other players, so he's my vice-captain. He is American. It kind of fits. For those of you wondering about international rules in the MLS, you're allowed 8 internationals. But interesting thing, I love this so much, you can trade international spots. That's right. You can actually trade it for up to 4 years, and then there's a permanent option. So you can permanently trade away one of your international spots for a very good player. I don't know how valuable that is to clubs. I don't know if you can turn up to the American Messi and say, I will have him, but you can have my international spot for the rest of forever, I guess, until we trade it back from you or something. I don't quite know. But that's really cool. International spots, and I assume, possibly, Good save, Glazer. I don't quite know if this is true, but I would assume it is. I think you can trade designated player spots too. Not entirely sure though. I mean, a lot of teams, you have to buy designated player spots, but you can only have a maximum of 3 in the MLS, I think. So, if you were to buy So if a team has 3 designated player slots, I think that's why I haven't been able to trade mine, or trade for any, because I already have 3. Maybe, I don't know. I bought one at the start of the season, assuming I had none, so I don't know. But I think you have to trade. I think you might be able to trade them, but only if the other team has 2 or less. But I thought I was the only one like with a designated player because there weren't that many good players. But I looked through it, and a lot of teams actually do have 3 designated players. I think Sporting KC have 1, and I think Houston don't have any. So yeah, that's interesting. There are designated players still in the MLS, quite a few actually. But our only one is Juan Jose Fuentes, and as you can see, he is well worth the $25,000 I am spending on him per week, which by the way is like half the average average wage for a designated player. I was looking through, and like Toronto and Seattle and the Galaxy, they all pay their designated players like $50,000 a week. So I've got a pretty good deal. It's what he wanted. I didn't even negotiate down. It's what he came to me with. Sorry for this is a pretty talky episode because a lot has happened. But oh, by the way, oh no, I won't talk about it. But as you can see, my skin has changed. That's just for speed purposes. I'll talk about it in the future. So this game, the Galaxy have well and thoroughly destroyed the Western Conference, but Toronto did an even bigger job, I believe, on the Eastern Conference. Yes, well, it's not a bigger gap, but they have been extremely good this year. Toronto have 65 points, which is by far the most in the MLS. They have a potential to go to 68 if they win their final game, which is on Saturday. Anyway, we have clinched. We have clinched our place in the semi-finals of the MLS Western Conference. And yeah, I will see you guys for that first game, which is on the 2nd, I want to say. 2nd of December. Yes. December? God damn, I can't do my months. I will see you guys on the 2nd of November, in-game time, for the Western Conference semi-final first leg against somebody. It's either going to be Seattle, LA Galaxy, which would be a problem because we can't really beat those, or the Wildcard. I'll see you guys then.